All right, we are live. Welcome to the InnerStrength Empowerment Hour. This is episode 38 on becoming the engine of your life instead of the caboose. I'm Lauren DePietro stand-in, and I am here, of course, with my success coaches, LT and Joanne, and also our special guest, Melanie, who's agreed to join us today. And we are so grateful for that. Because she has an amazing story to tell and knows exactly what it's like to go from your life running you to feeling like you're in control. So thank you very much, Melanie, for joining us today. We appreciate it. And anyone who wants to comment or ask questions on this video, I will be looking at Facebook, both now live and when we do the replay. So feel free to comment and ask questions. So Melanie, thanks again for being here. Can you tell us about yourself?
Sure. I am married. I've been with my husband for 15 years. We have a little 5-year-old boy. Me and my husband are both cooks. I am a sous chef in an Italian cafe. We are both in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was born and raised here. Both of our families actually are from Cajun country in Louisiana. So that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even, being an Ohio girl, about as far south as my family goes. We were, my grandparents are from Kentucky. And I did visit, I did go south, really far south besides Florida once to New Orleans. But that's about as much as I know about Cajun country. But it seemed like a different world to me.
New Orleans is a different world from even like Louisiana. Like it's its own little thing.
Yeah.
Because no one else in Louisiana is like that. Like
okay, that's good to know. I know
we don't all party like that. Yeah, we don't do any of that.
I was down there for a work thing, and I didn't realize how much it was like Vegas or something.
Yes. New Orleans is actually like actual New Orleans is really small. It's where all the stuff is happening. Like they have a lot of places on the outskirts that they call themselves New Orleans, but it's more like a more suburban like city.
Okay. Yeah, it was a really
never sleep in New Orleans, much like Vegas.
It was surreal to me. I went for work, like I said, and it was like being in a different country to me. So it was interesting for sure. And I know that LT can relate to that more than I can, more than Joanne and I can probably.
We're 2 hours from New Orleans where I am in Mobile, and a lot of Mobilians like to go to New Orleans for the weekend, and they like to eat big, and they like to party big, and they like to shop big. So, and then the Mardi Gras, we have this little rival with New Orleans because New Orleans gets all the claim and fame for it. But, Mobile is the one that started Mardi Gras.
I didn't know
that. That one up in the book.
Yeah. Right. I looked it up. It's true.
It is true.
Well, there you have it, folks. You learn something new every day on the InnerStrength Empowerment Hour. And today we found out that Mardi Gras is falsely claiming, have its origins in New Orleans when it's actually
Mobile. But Mobile is a lot more family friendly than the New Orleans Mardi Gras.
You were right about that.
So I want to dive into this. So before you joined, my program, what were you struggling with in terms of your health? And do you feel like, because you are from that part of the country, and I will say that, when I have done research, as I have on different parts of the country, that part of the United States typically is one of the most overweight. If not the most overweight. So, what kind of problems were you having? And do you feel like it was partially, due to where you grew up?
Well, way before I decided to go plant-based or I joined the group or anything, like at my heaviest, I was 250 pounds and I was diagnosed with insulin resistant hypothyroidism. And when I was about 14, I had the ovarian cyst.
Okay.
That's when I was diagnosed with that.
Yeah.
And then later on, in my early 30s, I was told that I could never have kids ever. So it turned out that wasn't so true. But
Yeah, that's
And that's
actually,
what, like, I personally had to deal with. Now, I have a lot of chronic disease that runs in my family on both sides. And being from the South and both of my parents being very Cajun and cooking like they're very Cajun, it was, my grandmother actually had lard in her house. So
Mhm.
yeah, everything was fried. And if it wasn't fried, it was sauteed in butter.
Sure.
And when I got older and my mom started branching out with food, then we introduced the heavy whipping cream. And so that was yeah,
yeah,
everything was heavy. Everything was loaded with fat, loaded with
Yeah.
grease. We used to joke that at my grandmother's house, you could like skim an inch of grease off of whatever she was cooking because it was so oily. And we always ate like that,
yeah.
always, since I was a kid.
Did you, because my grandma cooked everything in lard too,
Mhm.
but they also had a huge garden. So there was a lot of, fried and sauteed
Oh,
and stuff in the cast
absolutely.
iron skillet, but there's also a lot of vegetables. Did you have that as well?
Oh yes. We would like pick corn and like shuck corn like as a family. We would like do the peas. My daddy always had a garden and still does. My both of my grandfathers had gardens. So we had the
Okay.
vegetables, but we had a ton of processed food.
Yeah,
And I mean, like there was processed food at least at every meal.
yeah.
Mhm.
There was the white rice, the white bread, but we
Mhm.
did have the fruits and vegetables, but it was added with all this other stuff as well.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The heavy roux with the gravies and all of that too. And
Yeah.
one thing about Louisiana, you're used to these candies and little stations where you do at checkouts. Well, they have pralines at every checkout.
Wow.
Oh my
Everyone.
gosh.
Yep.
Pralines, beignets, or cut
Mhm.
drenched in that powdered sugar.
Any
Yeah, up
way that
here,
you could possibly add any fat to any substance, we can do it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
up here it's the cream horns. My grandma always had cream horns, like so the pastry with the cream
Yeah.
filled in the middle that about as processed as you can get.
Oh yeah.
And bologna and we had a lot of Wonder Bread with
Mhm.
Right.
spam, fried spam.
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 Yep. We were a
Amazing.
spam family.
Yeah, my mom still eats spam, and I just don't know how she does it. Poor thing. Yeah, she'll eat spam like it's like the best thing on earth.
I know.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all, I used to love me some spam. So my
My
grandma
mom-
would fry that stuff up and it was good. I mean, I didn't even know they still made it. And I saw a commercial for it a couple weeks ago and I looked at John, I said, they still make spam?
They still
People
make
still
Yeah.
eat spam. Oh
My
my
mom
God.
will cook it up in a pan and then eat it with her grits in the morning. And I'm like, okay, we're not having that.
Yeah. And April says, my grandma, this is gross. My grandma used to dip a spoon in Crisco and then sugar and give it to me to eat.
Oh,
You
that sounds
guys, no
horrible.
joke. This is the story my grandma tells. And my grandma grew up in Nebraska, so they were farm people. But my grandma, when she was the oldest, used to have to walk down to country school back in the day, back in the 20s, and she would take her sandwich every day was a lard and sugar sandwich. Not
Lard and
even kidding,
sugar
like
sandwich.
lard and sugar sandwich. That was
Okay.
a thing.
I didn't know that
Oh,
was a thing.
no.
That's horrible.
Now I know. So we know from April says, now you see where my problems began. Yes, we do. Correct. Check. Now we know what happened to April. So Melanie, what this obviously it's clear what leads to all of the physical problems when you're eating that way all the time. And because of that, you had this on both sides of your family as well. So what kind of problems do you think that led to in your mindset? At such a young age, you had all of these physical issues.
Well, I mean, I didn't even know mindset was a thing until I met you. So I think about it a lot now, but I never really thought about it then. I mean, most of my mindset issues was the the weight was more, like you say, it's more like a symptom. I would get picked on a lot because of I was a little overweight. And my grandparents were always putting me on a diet because I was so fat. My grandmother actually told me once, Melanie, you're so fat, we should put you on a cucumber diet. And I'm like, oh, okay. Super nice. So that was the main issue that I always dealt with, that because of the weight, I got all this negativity thrown at me constantly. So, and then my grandmother, my mom weighed 100 pounds when she got pregnant. When she got married, and she used that as a baseline for all of us. Like, do you know you weigh the same as your mother and you're only so and so years old? We need to put you on a diet. And I'm like, you can see my collarbone for the love. Like, really? And so I got that in my head, and it never got out. For a really long time, it never got out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of moms project those issues onto their kids, because when my mom started telling me I needed to lose weight, I was seriously like 8, and I'm not in the least bit heavy. And so, but I think she was just projecting that stuff onto me somehow. So yeah, so that does a number on your self-esteem, and you're carrying that
and then
with you.
that's when I got super shy. I was scared. I became very introverted. I did not want friends. I did not want to talk to anyone, because I had in like 8th grade, I was like, oh, this girl's talking to me. So I'm like, we're friends, right? And she literally said, why are you talking to me right now? So then I was like, I don't want to put myself out there, because I don't want the rejection over and over and over again. So I stayed very to myself for decades. Would not speak.
I think that's, when I talk to women and we do our mindset work, it starts with your physicality, but then what happens is you aren't being yourself at work. Maybe you're not pursuing the things because you don't have the self-esteem to pursue that, you don't have the confidence. You're not pursuing healthy friendships. You're not getting, there's just so many things that it bleeds into when you feel that way about yourself. So I know, you have tried diets in the past.
Yeah.
So what have you tried?
Well, I did Weight Watchers about 3 times. It worked once. And then as soon as I got off of it, I say it worked, I lost weight, but I was still eating processed food. I was still highly addicted to food. Nothing changed. I just happened to lose weight. And then I got off of it, and I wasn't losing weight anymore. I did Atkins, and that was horrific. I did South Beach, and I did keto, and that was the last straw, was the keto. And that was the last one I did before I turned plant-based.
Is that what made you decide to do plant-based, just to kind of get in that opposite direction from all the unhealthy keto crap?
I did a lot of reading and a lot of research and watched a lot of documentaries, and I came to the conclusion that the healthiest way for me to eat would be plant-based. And so I just needed to figure out how to do it.
Right. Yeah. So, which is what happened to me as well. I was like, nothing's working. And I just started doing research. And
I was not losing weight. I was not feeling better. I was feeling worse.
Right. Over the years, you just you might lose weight, but then you gain it back plus more. And it's like, if you look year after year, you're just getting worse.
And each diet I tried had like all these side effects that I didn't really like. So I tried something else.
Yeah. So you have had some amazing results on my program. How do you feel like this was different once you got into it?
Absolutely the mindset. Because now that my mindset is a total change than it was before, I feel completely different. I talk to myself different. I carry myself different. Everything has changed for me.
Yeah.
So that's I never had any of that with anything, any diet, any program, any plan, nothing.
And you posted this morning, you're hearing a positive voice inside of your head now.
Yes. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. I'm at work, and we have 2 people out with COVID, and they're like, Melanie, we're going to need you to work in the front of the house. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Oh no, I don't do the front of the house. and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, I'll do it. And I was like, I can do this. Like, it's way out of my comfort zone, but I can do it. And so I told him I would. And so tomorrow morning I'll be front of the house.
There you go.
Which is my husband, when I met him, he started out as a sous chef. He's an executive chef now. And you never do the front of the house.
Mm-mm.
That's
A cook
crazy.
is a cook. A cook stays in the kitchen for a reason. They stay in the kitchen. They don't wander out to the front. No.
Well,
But
maybe
like
that.
the first thought I had was, there's no way I can do this. And then I stopped myself and I'm like, this is a challenge. This is something new and different, and I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how it goes.
That is that's such a great testimonial right there, that, you know, you said you spent decades feeling like you couldn't put yourself out there. And, you know, now somebody says, hey, we need you to put yourself out there. And you're like, okay. You know?
Right.
That's what I mean. Everything has changed for me. I take pictures now. I was looking for a picture of myself the other day. I went back to 2016 before I could find a picture. And I was like, that says a lot. I didn't want anyone to take my picture. And now,
and you recently had a birthday, and you never liked birthdays, and I didn't either, but you loved your birthday this year.
I've cried every year since I was 14 on my birthday.
Yes.
And this year I had a party, and I took a lot of pictures.
You did.
I did. I told everyone, hey, it's time for a picture. Hey, it's time for a picture. And I would be the one running out the room when the camera came out.
Yeah.
Had a good time.
How much weight have you lost so far?
Since I was on the program, 45.
45. That's amazing.
For my highest, the highest I ever weighed was 250, and I'm at 175 now.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
That's amazing.
Significant.
Yes.
Yeah, that's huge. So, but you did, so you had this amazing success on the program, and then you got briefly distracted.
Yes, I did. I got distracted.
Can you tell people what happened there? Because I think this happens all the time with women, because there's so much information out there.
There is. It was information overload. And what is really super confusing is that doctor over here is saying one thing, this doctor over here is thinking totally different. And you're like, well, who do you believe? I bought all the books. I subscribed to all the YouTube, and I was getting just so much information. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe and I started having a few little health problems. And I'm like, oh, well, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing something else. And then it occurred to me that, no, I should not. I need to get back where I need to be, where I belong, because that is where I had success. Doing it on my own, I never did. Right.
And so, and you were, was it the Mediterranean diet that you were getting distracted by? Was that?
Yes, okay. Because someone had told me I was having some issues with fibroids, and I read somewhere that the Mediterranean diet is perfect for that. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what I should be doing. No.
And then you started to gain a little bit, like you said, and
I gained a little bit. I kind of stopped it in its tracks before it got out of hand, and I reached out in our group, and that's what led me to change a few things in my mindset. And I did our reboot, and that has done amazing things for me.
Yeah. So what do you think about the group setting and having this one-on-one coaching? And I found that it just was a key element for me, because we're a part of a community.
I totally agree, because you have a support system wherever you go. You can have the worst thing happen to you in the world. You reach out and you have hundreds of women, they have your back. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I would be like, I don't know what to cook today. What should I cook? Oh, I'll see what everybody else is posting. Maybe I can get some ideas. Right. And the food is so good and it's so beautiful. But the thing for me is the people that have either been through it or are going through it. Mm-hmm. And that's everyone is so supportive, and everyone motivates each other, which is awesome.
That's what I love about it. We've all been on the same road. We've all traveled the same road, but some of us have been a little bit further down the road, and we've turned the corner. And so we're building up the other ones that are, behind us and wanting to pass it forward, and cheering each other on and really wanting the best for somebody. And that's a great non-competitive environment to be in, where
Yes.
you feel like that
And you
you have
can't
freedom
find
to
that
be
anywhere
yourself.
else.
That's right. That's right.
And I
I've
think
heard
it
that.
speaks to the one-on-one and the group, like Lori always says, we call this a family. I think it really speaks to that when I think it was 10 o'clock at night, Melanie, you texted me and you said, oh my God, they just took my husband by ambulance to the hospital and I'm sitting at the hospital. And then we were chatting back and forth, and then she joined into the group and tapped in there and was getting support, because I'm sure sitting in that hospital, your head was spinning in a million different directions. And to be able to have a group of women kind of rally around you in that moment, I think that's so different than other like groups that we can join. You can't text somebody at 10 o'clock at night and say, oh my God, this just happened in my personal life. So many things aren't personal, but that's how we all got here, was because of all the personal life stuff. So I think that's huge that, that was a thing you felt comfortable doing.
Well, and I always say, like, when I talk about y'all, and I do a lot, I always say, oh, my friend Joanne, my friend Lori, because that's what it's like. Like, hey, guess what just happened to me? But in all honesty, when that happened, y'all were the only ones that I could reach out to, because I'm in the hospital. My husband's in the hospital. My parents were taking care of my kid. I didn't want him to know what was going on. So I didn't really have anyone else to talk to vent to reach out to. So that was a lot.
It made a tender time and a scary time make you feel like you weren't quite as alone.
Right. And I was never more active in the group as I was those 9 days.
Yes.
Anytime I was just like sitting there, I'm like, oh, let me pull this up real quick, see what's going on. Like, I was there every single day, several times a day.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's, the thing besides the non-judgment, it's the fact that it's a lifetime program. So when you came back in, which is right before that happened, so our program is lifetime. So you didn't have to contact me and say, Lori, what do I have to pay to get back in? You just jump back into the group because you're in it for life. And so,
well, and I thought about what I think you said, I don't know in what platform, but when people are saying, oh, well, it's, I don't know about the money, but it's worth it. In the long run, it's absolutely worth it, because it's your health and it's your peace of mind and it's your sanity. So it's absolutely worth a little bit of money to be okay.
Yeah. So tell us what happened with your husband with this crazy thing that happened to your family.
So he on June 11th, he had a massive heart attack on my couch. And he ended up having open heart surgery, triple bypass. Then when that was done and he was recovering from that, they found several blood clots in his leg. They got that out, had surgery, got that out. And they found more blood clots in the same leg. Had to have 3 stents put in, and to help with the blood clot. That artery in his leg is still very much clogged. All the blood clots are gone. The last time he went to the doctor about a month ago, he still had clots. When he went this week, they were gone. So that was the absolute scariest thing I've ever had to deal with in my life.
Yeah. So and before this, I know when you and I had talked and we had, done some of our mindset work, that you were like, well, my husband and my family aren't on board with plant-based eating, but they're not trying to discourage me from doing it. They're fine, they're fine with me doing it. They're just not interested. But unfortunately, when you're not taking care of yourself, there's consequences. And so, besides I know you really were leaning on the group during this initial scare, but since then you've had to be the caretaker.
Yes.
As well.
He was he actually just went back to work this week. And he's been home. And like I said earlier, I have a 5-year-old as well at home. So that was tough. But we talked a lot. Like in the hospital, he was all about getting healthier and with his diet and exercising. And then we got home and he started feeling better. And then he was like, oh, maybe not. And I had him watch a documentary with me called Eating You Alive. And in this documentary, they talk about specific chronic diseases. And so one was cardiovascular disease, and I asked him to watch it with me. And I didn't push, I didn't comment, I let him watch. And then as soon as the movie was over, he was like, I'm switching. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? What was that?
Come again?
One more time. And he was like, I'm switching to plant-based. And I was like, okay. He was like, oh, well, I'll start tomorrow. I'm like, no, we're going to give it a couple of days. Let it all sink in. And then I will, I need a plan. I can't just be like, oh, we're playing all plant-based now. I need a plan. So Monday came, I said Monday would be our day, his start day. And Monday came around and I was just waiting for him to just be like, and he didn't. He has been plant-based. And my little boy, I told my little boy, I was like, we only eat plants now. And he was like, are French fries plants? And I was like, yes, they are.
So Melanie, how do you think this has affected your son? I know that he does go to his grandparents' house, so he's obviously going to get things there. But now that you and your husband are both going to be eating plant-based and at home with him, how has all this affected him? And how do you think that will put his view of health going forward?
Well, he doesn't know it, but he loves plant-based everything. He's had, I got the Louisville vegan jerky.
Oh, yeah. That stuff is so good.
Much like soy curls.
Right? It is, yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, I figured. And so we got the maple bacon. Keith was like, oh, I don't know. Gabriel was like, give me the bag. But I've had him eat tofu. Like, he's all about it. And I think it's great because I was fed a lot of bad stuff. Like, I grew up in the 80s. Everything was processed. So, it was all horrible and no one knew it. So, I had some really bad stuff in my system. But he loves, he's like, I'm hungry. Okay, what do you want? Can I have a plant? Yes, you can have a plant. Can I have an apple plant? Yes, we're going to have an apple. Oh. He eats fruit all the time. Vegetables, we're having he likes a couple of vegetables, but he will eat fruit all day long. And like I said, he's doing some of the, we had Beyond Burgers the other day, and both Gabriel and Keith loved them. And he was like, oh, I like this. I could do this again. I'm like, yeah, that's good. So, and he likes a lot of vegetables. He loves beans and rice. So I've always tried to give him grown-up food, if you will, not a whole lot of like pizza and chicken tenders. Whatever I cook is what you're going to eat. And if you don't want to eat that, then I guess you're going to have apple, because that's all there is.
Right. And you make some of the most beautiful presentations in your pictures that you show. And I know that that's your chef background doing that. But, I would think that they really do want to eat what you are putting in front of them, because it looks gourmet a lot of the time. And that's what I was going to ask you. You're in this restaurant setting, and it's an Italian restaurant, but yet you've got to maintain the commitments that you've made to yourself as you're doing that. So have you just made a 100% I'm firm on this, and it's the mindset?
So what I do is I bring food to work. I bring a lot of food to work. So the minute I have the first thought of, oh my God, that looks delicious. Like, oh, what did I bring? Where's my bean salad? So and I keep gluten-free wraps at work. No one's gonna eat them but me. I keep the Dandy latte blend thing at work because no one's going to drink it but me. So I keep stuff so that I won't, because that's one of my triggers, that I wait too long to eat, and then I want to eat everything that's super bad for me. So I have a bad habit of working, and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm starving. So I have stuff with me so that I have something that I can eat. Because we literally have one vegan dish at my cafe.
Right. And that's why I really want to commend you for doing that, because, a lot of us are just not immersed in a kitchen on a daily basis in a work environment. having to see and smell and serve it to people.
Mhm.
Well, luckily for me, the smell, like when I cook chicken, it makes me a little nauseous now. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I ever ate that. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
good. 'Cause I used to
Right.
just want to put my face in and eat my way out, but not
Yeah.
anymore.
Good.
My
And the day we
husband-
make the bacon, that was the worst day, but I'm getting okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, my husband works in a restaurant, as everybody probably knows, and yeah, going plant-based. So what he does is he keeps plant-based foods at work. Like he actually, they make things like plant-based lunch meat, all these things. So he has his own little section. His problem is when people find out how good it tastes, he'll come in and
Yeah.
his stuff is gone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, but he's actually looking forward to, after, 20 plus years of cooking meat, he's looking forward to not having to do it anymore because it is
It's
just
fun learning new things. As a person who loves to cook, it's fun cooking food that I've never cooked before.
right.
Trying
Yeah.
different types of combinations, different flavors, different seasonings. It's fun to put all that stuff together.
Mhm.
I know, and we love you doing it because you share it and do pictures and tell us how you make it. That's fun for
Right.
our group. So that's an advantage that we get to have having you.
Yeah. We actually have a couple of,
We do.
we have
Yeah.
at least one other chef in the group.
Yeah.
So that's always good stuff.
You
But
can
the
tell
question
too because those plates look different. They just make
They
a
do.
beautiful
They
presentation.
do. I think it's cool that because, like LT said, you work in a place where there's so many temptations around you. And
Mhm.
obviously the people coming in, you get to know them and they're regular customers and you see the stuff they're ordering. Obviously it's not, it's loaded probably with mozzarella cheese and all that stuff. But you had one of your regulars notice how
Mhm.
healthy you were getting and
Yes,
they inquired about it to you. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a couple that comes in and they always do some kind of work-based stuff. She lives in New Orleans and drives to Baton Rouge to meet up with her coworker, and they work in the cafe. And I'm just working, and she was like, "Hey, you look fit. What have you been doing?" And I literally just saw her last week, so I guess she wasn't paying attention. But I was like, "Well, I didn't get fit over a week," and I'm like, and then at first I was like, "Well, no. I've been doing plant-based for about a year." And I'm like, oh, wait, I have been exercising. I completely forgot. I'm doing Couch to 5K. And we sat there and talked about it for like 15 minutes.
Yep.
So
That's
that was
awesome.
exciting.
Exciting. And so what about the rest of your family? Because after this happened to your husband, has that, shaken up any of the rest of the family or not?
Absolutely not. No. My mom has diabetes, like instant, like horrible, like I cannot get my sugars under 200 diabetes. My aunt has almost lost her sight, has had her thyroid removed, has half of her foot missing from diabetes. And she is so worried about where I'm going to get my protein from. I'm like, you need to worry about keeping your foot. So don't worry about my
Yeah.
protein. You've got bigger
That's
fish to fry, little lady. And my
That's
dad, which I just found out about a month ago, that both of my grandfathers have heart attacks. And I just found out about this. But no, none of them. My sister, who is 37, just got diagnosed with diabetes. So she just takes a pill instead of eating the right way.
Mhm.
And
I
I've
think
told them all.
people don't
If you-
realize that what the medication does is it keeps you from going into shock. It does not stop
No.
all of the bad things that the consequences from happening from the fact that you have diabetes. All it does is just keep you from immediately dying, but you still are over time you're gonna potentially lose your sight. You're going to
Yeah,
lose
it's horrible to watch.
Yeah. This is what food addiction
And
does.
I've told my sister, I've told my mom, just try plant-based. Just try it. I was like, Mama, just do it for a week and check your blood sugar. I promise you that's going to be different. I told my sister the same thing, and they refused. So I'm like, well, I'll be healthy. So,
And
and
you never know.
I always bring food to the house. Sometimes they try it and say it's disgusting. Sometimes they like it. So I'm like, it's here if you want it. If you don't want it, it's fine. I'll just eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you never know, like over time, you might, that's what at first my family was super resistant. And then over time they became, as they saw me sticking to it and getting healthier and
Right.
healthier. So
Mhm.
like your husband.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's
Yeah.
sticking to it. I mean, like every day he's been doing the right thing. And one day he ate rice at the restaurant he works at. They make rice and they take it's a barbecue place. So they take all the ends and pieces of the brisket and the pulled pork and they throw it in this rice. And he ate some of this rice. And my little boy says, Dad, you ate meat and meat is not a plant. We eat plants in this house.
Oh,
And I was
Look
like,
at
tell him
that.
again, boy. Tell him again.
I love
He's the
that.
meat police
Breaking.
now.
that is breaking generational curses.
That
It
is.
really is.
Mhm.
I just know how good that feels as a parent.
Oh my gosh, if I
was
could
so
go back
proud
and
of
have a
him. I was super
5-year-old
proud.
again and start,
Yeah.
I would do things so much differently.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
Gosh.
I wish I'd have known. I wish I would have known even at 14 what I knew today. Because now they're
Yes.
saying that all these problems that I had, if the doctor just would have said, hey, there's this plant-based diet thing, but they don't want you to do that because then you won't have to go back and then you won't buy the medicine. So
Mm-hmm.
there's
And
that.
fibroids are, for anyone who's listening and has that type of problem, fibroids are directly tied to both gluten and dairy. So getting those things out of your diet can be huge. And you can always feel free to message me, but that's, your reproductive health. Those are the two things in your diet that will affect that the most.
Mm-hmm.
And Melanie, I know you've been super active in the group lately, starting with, about a month ago. And people love it. People love seeing what you create and you're putting yourself out there. And so what other ways do you feel like you've been pushing yourself out of your comfort zone now that you have a new sort of mindset?
Well, I started concentrating more on self-love and self-care, which I never would have done before. But I think the biggest thing that I pushed myself out of my comfort zone was when I started walking and running.
Mhm.
I never thought I would ever run a day in my life.
And
I
you
would tell
joined Run
Galen-
Club.
I did. I joined the run club and I run.
Yes.
You're a runner.
So
And like
for
one time when Gabe was real little, he was like, come on, mama, chase me. And I'm like, no, Gabe, mama doesn't run. Mama does not run. And now I'm like, come on, let's play tag. Come on, let's go. And
You
we're
said
running.
Mama doesn't even go outside, right? That used
Mama,
to be you.
I go, oh my God, it's so hot out there. And my skin's itchy so bad. But it's okay. I keep moving and the mosquitoes, apparently if your body keeps moving, the mosquitoes leave you alone. So that's what I do. I just keep moving.
I know, they're like pterodactyls down here. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Jesus,
Yeah.
they're ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
So for people listening, we have a virtual run club in the group, and you don't have to categorize yourself as a runner to join the group. And it's been a way for women to really get out of their comfort zone, whether they are just walking faster to get more cardio in, or they're actually running. But what they've shown statistically is that very few women run Fortune 500 companies, but those who do, almost all of them are former athletes. So what they've shown is that when you get out of your comfort zone physically, it opens up things in the rest of your life. It allows you to see that you can really break barriers that you thought you couldn't break. And so that is a domino effect in the rest of your life that can lead to other things. So so that's one of the reasons why we do Run Club. We do quarterly 5Ks to 5 to 10Ks, depending on where you're at, what you want to do, and it's really, really fun.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the women that do April's program of the Run Club, put up their daily runs and their routes and their little maps that they're doing, and so it's just a great place to have some accountability and somebody to cheer you on, to say, look at that time, or look, you're really making progress. And, it feels good to get a pat on the back sometimes, because we don't have to share with the world all our little secret conquests that we're doing. You know, sometimes we're a little bit shy about wanting to share with the world until, you know, you feel like you're a little bit better at it. But in this group, we're with you from the get-go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're with you as you build on it.
Yeah,
And the accountability of the group is what is really important to me, because I feel like I'm accountable.
Yes.
If I don't show, I feel like if I'm not showing some food, like maybe I'm eating the wrong thing. Maybe I know I'm eating the wrong thing. If I don't do, like, oh, I only ran one day today, I got to put a post up. I got to go run.
But
Yeah. Tish says, such an inspiration to you. And I agree, it is so wonderful to have the group. She's in our group as well.
Mhm.
So, and Melanie, you mentioned, I think it's important to say too that, you know, you're talking about self-love because, you know, you went through decades of self-loathing, trying to do diets in that mindset. You can't do it because once you've decided that you hate yourself,
Yeah, you really do.
you really, there's nothing positive that can come from that. You can't, you've already decided you're not worth it. And so you're going to sabotage yourself every time. But so the self-love that's such a great thing that you mentioned that. So, and the last time that we talked, you mentioned, you know, you said something like, I don't really have any reason to do this, but I'm dancing around the kitchen, singing, you know, just despite all this stuff that's happened. So what do you think the big change is?
I think it's that little voice in my head, that inner script that has turned itself on its head, that I don't think negative thoughts, and when I do, I stop it in its tracks. I'm having fun at work. I used to be that person who was like, work isn't fun. Why are you even laughing right now? We're at work. But and I actually called someone in my family Negative Nancy the other day. And she was like, did you just say Negative Nancy? I was like, yes, I did. So my whole demeanor is just different now.
Yeah.
I just take things. I used to look at a prep list and go, oh my God, there's no way I'm getting that done. And now I look at the prep list, I'm like, okay, well, let's get going. Like I see things totally different.
Yeah. And when you see negativity, doesn't it just hit you like a cup of cold water? I mean, I just notice it so clearly now because you're like us, you have these fresh eyes. You're seeing things in a whole new way.
I do. And every day it's like I'm seeing something different or I'm feeling something different. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like every day it's something new.
It really is. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, like when I literally stopped myself saying I can't work in the front, and I was like, no, you can work in the front. I mean, it's a computer, it's fine. Like, and then I was like, wait a minute, was that just a positive thought?
Yeah, that's the way it starts. And that's, you know, you guys may have noticed that we do Monday mantras. And it's because when you are putting positive thoughts consistently into your head, it helps you negate those negative thoughts so that you can change your thought process. We're not doing that just because, you know, we've all seen that Saturday Night Live skit where he's standing in front of a mirror, like saying great things about himself, like you're worth it, you know. It's more about like, we all know that this negative script is running. It's usually been running since we were little. And we don't even notice that it's running the show because it's like a TV being on in the background. You just don't even hear it anymore. And so what happens with these positive mantras is that you start to notice, like Melanie did, when you're not thinking that way. So she was like, okay, I'm infusing my mind with all these positive thoughts. Then a negative thought comes in and you notice it this time. And then you can change your thinking in real time, which you have.
Right.
So that's very cool. So the theme of all of this was, you know, going from being the caboose of your life to the engine. And do you feel like that is what's happening for you?
Absolutely. I stand up for myself all the time. I used to never stand up to myself, to my husband. I'm like, oh, you want me to do such and such? Oh, okay, no problem. Let me go scamper off and do it. No, that's not happening anymore. And I started this little boundary situation. You can set boundaries with a 5-year-old. I did not know that was possible, but you can do it. And a lot of that has helped me a lot. Like, I feel like I am more in control instead of everything else controlling me. If something bad happened to me at 7 o'clock in the morning, I was done for the day. I was so triggered and I was so angry and in a bad mood for the rest of the day. And now something happens and I just shake it off. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll figure that out. I just have to do this other thing right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I love that because that happened to me too. You know, you could get up in the morning, I'll speak for myself, and could stub my toe and say, well, this is going to be a good day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This one's, yeah.
Your
This house is gonna be.
starting already.
And then it would. And I would project that and manifest it into myself. But now I have noticed with this program as well that it's a shaking it off. It's a moving forward. It's a, you know, it's really not being consumed by something.
Yeah. And normally
Right.
it's the little things that you really don't have any control over. I stubbed my toe. Well, okay, I'll get a Band-Aid and then I'll get dressed and go to work. So,
Exactly.
I mean, bad things happen. Unexpected things happen all the time.
Mhm.
So
And it will
now,
continue.
Instead
Yes.
of fretting about it and dwelling on it and harping on it, I'm like, well, what do we need to do to fix it? Let's do that.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that's been really evident in how you have treated this whole situation with your husband and the conversations you've had with him and involving, you know, that was a major life event. And listening to your dialogue over the few weeks, you know, that we've been working on this reboot thing, listening to your dialogue concerning that, I can just tell that you do have self-worth. Because one time you said, you know, he had come home from the hospital and was like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to do that, you know, plant-based thing or whatever. And you stood up for yourself and you said, okay, you can think that, but I'm not doing this alone. So you better get your act together.
Right.
You know, that's self-worth. That's not saying, oh, you poor person, you know, you've been through a lot. Let me just ruin my life to
And the way I was
coddle you.
raised it was old school, Southern.
Yep.
Every woman, you belong
Yes.
in the kitchen, serving the man and doing all this. My grandmother did it, my mom did it, and I'm like, no. I did it for a while, and then I was like, this isn't
Yep.
for me.
Yeah.
Really is
Practically fixing their plate, putting it in front of them when they hold their drink up. You go fill up their tea and then
Yes.
you clear their
Yes.
plate.
Yeah, the other day, a while back, I was bringing him his food. I'm like, the least you can do is clear a spot for me to set the food on. And now I'm like, and then he would depend on me for his medicine. I'm like, this medicine is not going to affect me. It affects you. So you need to get up and get your own medicine.
That's right.
Now he gets up and he gets his own medicine.
I think that's so important because I talk to far too many women who are the mom in their relationship with their spouse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not
Yeah.
that's not what you're here for.
And he used
not
to
your
talk to me
job.
like I was one of his children. And I would tell them, I'm not your mother and I'm not your daughter. So that's not happening.
That's right.
Mhm.
And I let it go for too long, way too long. I let him control every aspect of my life. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore.
Mhm.
Do you mind telling us how that's going over? Is he respecting you more or is he hating it that you're
No,
taking?
he's taking it in stride, surprisingly enough.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, and I told him when we talked about the plant-based thing, I literally said, I do not need a plant-based diet to live. It's making me a healthier person. You need this plant-based diet to live. You have to get
Yes.
healthy, and this is the way to do it. So I'm fine. I mean, and like Joanne said, I told him, I was like, I did not make this baby by myself, and I'm not raising this baby by myself. So, and
Right.
so he's doing the right thing. It's not really exercising that much, but he's eating much healthier. He completely stopped smoking. He stopped drinking. So definitely a step in the right direction.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And it's just so great though for you that you feel confident enough in yourself to now be able, because I know what that's like to like, once you take that tone with people that like, listen, I'm good.
Yep.
And my confidence level is through the roof, let me tell you. I never
Right.
had a confidence day in my life And now I'm just strutting in that cafe like I am.
That's why they're putting you up front, Melanie.
That's great.
Yeah, it is.
Look at her. She's going up front.
That's wonderful.
It is. I love it. I love it.
That's what we all call the, this is a wonderful side effect to being on this program. You get all these benefits that you didn't even dream were possible because you didn't know that it could happen. And then when it does happen, it's better than you ever thought.
Right.
You didn't even know it was
exactly
missing.
how it feels. Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. The best side effect is that I don't think about food all the time.
Yes.
You know what I think about? I think about the group. I catch myself all the time thinking about the group, thinking about, oh, I need to take a picture of this and post it. Maybe I should find a quote and post it. I don't think about, oh, do I need to go to the store? What am I going to cook for supper? What am I going to cook for lunch tomorrow? I mean, it was always food.
Yes.
And it's not anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't need to get on the scale to know what's going on. I can feel in my body what's going on.
Yes.
And
exactly
I never
right.
was into that before.
You're not letting the scale inform your self-esteem.
Right.
You are in touch enough with your body that you know. And that is amazing right there, because I think over time we actually almost disconnect ourselves from our body. So for you to really be like, I can feel whether I'm on track or not.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And even at your birthday, you said that, everybody else ate such heavy food at your birthday.
Oh my God.
And then you were sitting around, you had your plant-based food, and you looked at everybody who was ready to take a nap, and you're like, okay, bye, I'm going for my walk.
Yep.
It's
I
just
mean,
in your face
it
how
is
much
amazing.
healthier.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about this the other day, how when my grandmother used to cook like Sunday dinner, we would go over, and my dad has 3 brothers, and they were all napping in the living room as soon as dinner was over. And I'm like, well, that's why. Jesus, I thought they were just tired. No, they're in crap.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. We call it the padesse. Apparently in French, or in Cajun French, the padesse is when you get really, really sleepy after you eat. And my whole family is like that. My sister had to go to work this past weekend. It was my nanny's birthday, my godmother's birthday. And I forgot, they made stir fry. They made Chinese food, but everything had beef in it. So I made my own stir fry with some cauliflower rice. And they're like, you're eating that? And I'm like, I absolutely am eating that. And they were all like, oh, I'm so tired. I need a nap. And I'm like, well, I'm good. So I ate my little veggies.
And it's the type that they probably were reclined out in a recliner with their top button of their pants unbuttoned too.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, that was definitely a thing when I was growing up, when you had to unbutton pants.
That's, well, from an Italian, that's one thing we have in common. So coming from an Italian family, same thing. You just lay down, unbutton your pants, you're done.
My mom used to unbutton her pants.
The Italian families, and I think the Cajun families, is the cure for everything is food. You sad? Oh, let me make you a cake right quick. Oh, we're going to celebrate. Let's go eat at a restaurant. I mean, everything is, every emotion you celebrate with food. And even in my family, we hang out in the kitchen. That's where we hang out at, around all the food.
Right.
So
it's a culture.
It is a culture.
And they also, my grandma, I mean, she'd get pissed if you did 1 second. I'd be like, you want another meatball? I'm like, oh, Grandma, I'm good. She'd be like,
she was offended.
You want another meatball? You have another meatball. You're taking another meatball. And then it was like the pizzelles and and you felt like that, because that was her like love language. It's like you felt like you had to take it. I mean, so.
Well, that's what I noticed, Melanie, about your birthday that you just had. You really did treat that more of an experience. It wasn't all centered around the food. You made it a family time. And that's what we can do going forward. We don't have, food doesn't have to be the center stage. It can be your relationships, your conversations, the connections that you are having with your family at that time, because I know you're so appreciative that your husband has this second chance.
Yeah,
because some women don't get a second chance with their husband. I
hung out most of the day outside away from the food. And my little boy's birthday is 4 days before mine. So we got him a inflatable water slide,
Yeah.
and that was hilarious because my daddy tried to show him how to do it and then almost drowned. So we hung out outside, and you know, before this plan, everything was so surrounded by food that me and my sister had the same birthday. We would go to lunch together, then we would have supper together, but in between we would go have like some ice cream
Or the
get
cake, get
coffee,
something.
and then my mom would be like, what kind of appetizers do you want? It'd be like a whole spread meal before the meal. So we didn't have any. I stayed away from all that. I had me some flavored sparkling water, and we hung out, and it was great.
And it was great. And it's one of the best birthdays you've had on record. Yeah.
It did.
And you felt great the next day.
I did. I did not have to roll out the bed like a big old fatty bed. So I like jumped out the bed and just went about my business.
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
And that's what I love about you, Melanie, because, you know, people can have a lot of excuses of why I can't do things. Here you are living in the deep South in Louisiana, which is known for the beignets and the pralines and the fried everything.
Fried.
And you're working in a restaurant, and you're still doing it. So I really want to commend you and tip my hat to you because you're showing up for yourself, and it's really showing.
Well, thank you very much. I decided when I reached out that I don't think I was 100% committed before. I think I went through the actions, but I don't think my head was in the right place. And I think now my head is in the right place, and I'm totally committed because I know that if I eat gluten, and if I eat dairy, and if I eat meat or processed food, I'm going to swell up like a balloon. And that is very uncomfortable. My fingers used to swell so much they would hurt. And I don't have that anymore.
Right.
So if I want to feel okay, if I want to feel good, I know that I cannot eat that stuff.
Yes, your quality of life has improved.
I try to educate other people. The guy that there's a couple that owns the cafe I work at, and he is on cholesterol and blood pressure medicine. And I'm like, I'm giving you a salad. I'm not gonna fix any. But it was the sandwich with roast beef and gorgonzola. I'm like, I'm not giving you that. No. I need to keep my job. I need you not dead. So you can have to ask someone else for that.
Right.
So I try to educate people what I've learned to kind of help them. Like, even if they don't want to go plant-based, at least they know what they need to do to help themselves, or what.
That's right.
A little bit more about nutrition, at least.
And they are watching you.
Yeah, they are.
People are watching.
They are.
It is. And it's just so exciting to see this type of thing happening in the group.
Yeah.
Gina says, I love this group. Best choice I've made for myself. Thank you to the coaches. And, you know, the fact that you came back and have found yourself even more committed, I think is one of my most favorite things about the group is just the relationships that we form, because this is a lifetime.
Right.
That's right.
A lifetime membership, and we learn about each other, and we learn, you know, what is actually going on with you that doesn't have anything to do with the number on the scale. So is there any final things that you want to say for people out there who there's, as you know, we can come up with lots of excuses why we can't do this. And I'm not even to call them excuses, I'm not saying they're not valid. People have stuff going on in their lives like you do, like, you know, your husband had a massive heart attack. I mean, there's lots of things that can happen. What advice would you give people who are like, you know, hum-hawing around and are like, I don't know if I can do this. And, you know, that in that place where they don't feel confident that they can make this happen.
Well, I didn't feel confident either when I first started. I didn't. And like so many people, I would start a diet and it would work for about a month or so, and then it wouldn't. Yeah. But if you stick to it, it is so important for your health, both mentally and physically. Like, I would have done it. I wish I had done it way before I did. And if I had to redo it, I would absolutely do it again. Like, once the mindset clicks, everything else just falls into place.
Yeah.
And if you're on on the fence whether you want to do it or not, do it. It makes you're healthier, you feel better, you're happier. Like you feel like your confidence is through the roof. I never had confidence, period. So there's just so many aspects of my life that is 100% better because of this group. So yeah, absolutely do it.
Well, we appreciate you so much. We admire you like crazy.
And I appreciate all of y'all.
Yeah. Well,
if it wouldn't have been for the three of y'all, I don't think I could be nearly as successful as I've been.
Oh,
that means a lot.
You are a joy to coach. You really are. Because you're very coachable.
Yeah.
You're very coachable.
I've never heard that before. I've been through a lot of things. Coachable's never been one of them.
You are always open to things, and when things are being told, you always, were amenable to it. So I appreciate that.
I
You really
always do that, but I learned that you listen to others.
Yeah.
Take advice from the people that know.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you have, what's really cool is you have this, I can't imagine how you were before, because now you just seem like this really strong, confident woman. That's the only Melanie I know.
That's
and
who we know.
I would say I was the little person hiding in the corner, not talking to anyone. Like even at parties, like my own party.
Oh, unmute.
You muted yourself somehow, Melanie. Melanie, you're mute. There you go.
I think that's a good point that Melanie brings up, that she was hiding herself in the corner. And I think the three of us know, Melanie, you're awesome and we love you. And you have so much light to give to everybody. And how many of us out there have that same light to give to the world, and we don't, because we're just hiding in a corner.
That's right.
So I think that speaks volumes that you have all this to give to your family, to your husband, to your kids, to your son, and to the group and to the people you work with. But there you were, hiding out in the corner because you didn't feel like you could. And that's such a disservice we do.
So many people.
And now you're paying it forward and you're helping other people and changing their lives. And that's just, it's just huge.
You really are. You're a very big asset to the group.
Well, thank y'all so much. That means a lot.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's true for all of the women that are in our group. They all have their own gift, but it goes back to what you said, Joanne, that like sometimes we lose our identity in being a wife and a mom and an employee, and we lose sight of the gifts that we have. And it's just a really cool thing to come into yourself and realize how much more there is to you.
Oh, I know it. I love saying, if you have a pulse, you have a purpose.
Yes.
And when you can clear that clutter out of the mind and being obsessed with the food and breaking that addiction, you can start to see what it really is. The world opens up to you.
Yep. Well, thank you so much, Melanie. We appreciate you sharing your story so candidly. I know that there are women who either are listening or will listen to this, especially, you talking about your struggles, what happened with your husband and how you're handling that, who will get a lot out of this, because I talk to women all the time whose husbands are in failing health, who do not want to do anything about it. And the wives are like, struggling with it. So I think the stance that you've taken here has just been, great for other women to hear as well. So
yes.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And we congratulate you on your own personal success, and thank you again, and we'll see you guys in the group. And for everybody else, feel free to comment. We'll come back and look at these comments later. Susie says thank you, that she really needed to hear this.
Good.
So I know this is going to touch a lot of women, and we will see you next week on the InnerStrength Empowerment Hour. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Mel.
Thank you.